Sign here, here, and initial here. The lawyer slid the papers across the mahogany desk with a practiced smile. Once you sign, Miss Chun, you'll officially be Mrs. Alexander Hartwell. Congratulations. Maya Chun stared at the contract because that's what it was, a contract, not a marriage certificate. Her hands trembled as she picked up the expensive pen. 1 year, Alexander Hartwell said from across the desk, his voice cold and businesslike. You play the devoted wife in public. In private, we're strangers. You get $5 million when the year ends, and we divorce. I get my grandmother's inheritance released from the trust. Maya looked up at the man who would be her husband in 3 days. At 28, Alexander Hartwell was everything the magazines said. Devastatingly handsome, ruthlessly intelligent, worth $8.2 billion. But up close, his gray eyes were empty. Dead almost. And if I refuse? Maya asked, even though she already knew her answer. $5 million would save her father's restaurant, pay off the loan sharks circling her family, give her little brother a chance at college. Then I find another woman desperate enough to accept. Alexander's smile didn't reach his eyes. You're not special, Miss Chun. You're just convenient. Pretty enough to be believable, unknown enough to disappear after, and desperate enough not to ask questions. The words should have stung. But Maya had been desperate for so long, one more humiliation barely registered. I have one condition, she said. Alexander raised an eyebrow. You're not in a position to negotiate. I need to work. I can't just sit in your mansion doing nothing for a year. It'll drive me crazy. Maya straightened her spine. Let me work as your housekeeper. I'll clean, I'll cook, I'll stay out of your way. But I need to be useful. For the first time, something flickered in those dead eyes. Curiosity, maybe. You want to be my wife and my maid? If you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to like, comment, and share, and turn on your notifications so you won't miss the next episode. I want to earn my money. Please. Alexander studied her for a long moment. Then he shrugged. Fine. You'll live in the main house, play wife at public events, and keep the place clean the rest of the time. Do we have a deal? Maya signed the contract, sealing her fate. 3 days later, she became Mrs. Alexander Hartwell in a civil ceremony with no guests, no flowers, no love. Just two strangers bound by money and desperation. The first month was lonely. Alexander left at dawn for his office and returned after midnight. Maya cleaned his massive penthouse, cooked elaborate meals he never ate, and slept in a guest room far from his master suite. They barely spoke 20 words to each other. But Maya noticed things. The way Alexander flinched when anyone touched him. The medication bottles hidden in his bathroom, antidepressants, anti-anxiety pills, sleeping aids. The photo he kept face down in his desk drawer. The nightmares that made him scream in his sleep, she heard them through the walls. This wasn't a cold, heartless billionaire. This was a man in so much pain, he'd gone numb just to survive. On their 6-week anniversary, if you could call it that, Maya was cleaning Alexander's office when she found it. A folder labeled Project Guardian. Inside were newspaper clippings from 5 years ago. Hartwell heiress kidnapped. Ransom paid. Victim not returned. Police close Emma Hartwell case as cold. Maya's blood ran cold. The photo clipped to the file showed a young woman, maybe 22, with Alexander's gray eyes and a brilliant smile. His sister. There were police reports, ransom notes, therapy bills, and a private investigator's report from last month that made Maya's hands shake. New lead on Emma Hartwell's location. Subject may still be alive. Recommend immediate action. That's confidential. Maya spun around. Alexander stood in the doorway, and for the first time since she'd met him, there was fire in his eyes.
Rage, pain, fear.
Your sister, Maya whispered. She was kidnapped. She was taken from me 5 years ago. Alexander's voice was raw. They demanded $50 million. I paid it. They killed her anyway, or so everyone believes. But you don't believe it. I don't know what to believe anymore. He moved into the room like a caged animal, all that controlled composure cracking. For 5 years, I've chased ghosts. Followed leads that went nowhere. Hired investigators who found nothing. Everyone tells me to move on, except that Emma is dead, grieve and let go. But you can't. She's my baby sister. The words exploded from him. She was 22 years old, brilliant, kind. She had her whole life ahead of her. And someone took her from me because I have money, because I'm a Hartwell. Maya understood now. The emptiness, the isolation, the loveless contract marriage, the inheritance from your grandmother, she said slowly. You need it for the investigation. Alexander laughed bitterly. My grandmother put her entire fortune, $2 billion, in a trust that only releases if I'm happily married and settled down. She thought money made me cold, that love would fix me. She died last year, still believing I could be saved. He looked at Maya with hollow eyes. So yes, I'm using you. I'm using this fake marriage to get money to fund a probably hopeless search for a sister who's likely been dead for 5 years. I'm a bastard. You can leave if you want. I'll still pay you. Maya should have been angry. She should have felt used. But all she felt was crushing sadness for this man who'd lost everything that mattered. What if she's alive? Maya asked. That report said there was a new lead. There's always a new lead. They never pan out. But what if this one does? Maya moved closer. Alexander, what if there's a chance, even a tiny one, that Emma is out there waiting for you to find her? Then I've wasted 5 years being too broken to look hard enough. His voice cracked. Don't you understand? If she's alive and suffering because I gave up, because I let grief paralyze me, I'll never forgive myself. Maya made a decision. Probably a stupid one. Definitely a reckless one. Then let me help you, she said. What? I'm your wife, fake or not. Let me help you find your sister. Maya's voice grew stronger. You said I'm convenient and desperate and unremarkable. Perfect. No one notices the help. No one pays attention to the quiet wife in the corner. I can go places you can't, ask questions that would raise red flags coming from you, investigate without drawing attention. Alexander stared at her like she'd grown a second head. Why would you do that? This isn't part of our contract. Because I have a little brother too. He's 17, and if anyone ever took him from me, I'd burn the world down to get him back. Maya's eyes glistened. I know what it's like to love someone that much. And I can't just stand by and watch you suffer alone when maybe, just maybe, I could help. For a long moment, Alexander said nothing. Then, quietly, You really mean that? I really mean that. Something shifted between them. The walls Alexander had built started to crack. The lead is in Seattle, he said finally. A woman matching Emma's description was seen at a medical facility there. But I can't just fly to Seattle and start asking questions. If the kidnappers are watching me, and they probably are, it could put Emma in more danger. But I could go. Maya's mind raced. I could say I'm visiting family. I'm nobody. No one would suspect the hired wife. It's dangerous. Everything worth doing is. Alexander studied her face, really seeing her for the first time. You're not what I expected, Maya-chan. Neither are you, Alexander Hartwell. 2 days later, Maya was on a plane to Seattle. But before she could even start her investigation, everything went wrong. At the airport, a stunning blonde woman in designer clothes intercepted her. You must be the new Mrs. Hartwell. How quaint. Maya's stomach dropped. Who are you? Victoria Sterling. Alexander's ex-fiancée. Well, I suppose ex is a strong word. We were together for 4 years before he had his little breakdown over his dead sister. Victoria's smile was venomous. I assume he's paying you well to play house? He certainly paid the investigators well to find absolutely nothing for 5 years. I don't know what you're talking about.
Please.
I know a contract marriage when I see one. Victoria stepped closer, her perfume overpowering. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to go back to New York, tell Alexander this lead is another dead end, and divorce him quietly. Then he'll come back to me, where he belongs. Why would I do that? Because if you don't, I'll make sure every tabloid in the country knows about your little arrangement. His grandmother's trust will be voided for fraud. You'll get nothing. He'll get nothing. And Emma, if she's even alive, will stay lost forever. Victoria's eyes glittered. I've waited 5 years for Alexander to get over this obsession. I'm not letting some nobody ruin my plans now. Maya's heart pounded. You're insane. I'm in love. There's a difference. Victoria walked away, leaving Maya shaking. Maya called Alexander immediately. We have a problem. When she explained about Victoria, Alexander's voice went cold. That woman is poison. We were engaged, yes. She left me 2 months after Emma was taken because I was too depressed and not fun anymore. Now that the inheritance is about to release, suddenly she wants me back. She threatened to expose our contract. Let her. I don't care about the money anymore. I care about finding Emma.
His voice softened.
Maya, if you want to walk away from this, I understand. Victoria will make your life hell. I'm not walking away. Maya's voice was fierce. I'm finding your sister.
And she did.
After 3 days of searching, she found Emma in a psychiatric facility, registered as Jane Doe, kept docile with medication by a man who visited monthly, a business rival of Alexander's who'd wanted revenge. But when Maya tried to help Emma escape to bring her to Alexander, everything fell apart. Emma, thin, traumatized, barely coherent, took one look at Maya's Asian features and started screaming.
No. No.
Not again. Please, not again. Emma cowered in the corner, shaking violently. She looks like them. She looks like the ones who took me. Maya's heart shattered. The kidnappers had been Asian. Emma's trauma was so deep, she couldn't distinguish between her captors and someone trying to help her. Emma, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm Alexander's wife. I'm trying to help. Liar. Alexander would never marry someone who looks like you. He'd never. Emma's screams brought orderlies running. Maya was escorted out, devastated. She called Alexander from her hotel room, crying. She's alive, but she can't even look at me, Maya sobbed. Alexander, she's so traumatized. She thinks I'm one of them because I'm Asian. I can't help her. I've made everything worse. There was a long silence. Then, I'm coming to Seattle. Stay where you are. Alexander arrived 6 hours later, having chartered a private jet. He found Maya in her hotel room, still crying. I'm sorry, she whispered. I found her, but I can't help her. She's too scared of me. Alexander did something unexpected. He pulled Maya into his arms, holding her tight. You found my sister. You gave me back hope. That's everything. But she hates me. She'll never accept me. She's traumatized. It's not about you. It's about what was done to her. He tilted Maya's face up. We'll work through this. Together. I'm not giving up on Emma, and I'm not giving up on you.
Why do you even care about me?
I'm just your contract wife. You stopped being just a contract the moment you chose to help me when you didn't have to. Alexander's gray eyes were intense. You're brave and kind and you see me, not my money, not my name, just me. I don't know when it happened, but somewhere along the way, you became the most important person in my life. Alexander. He kissed her. Soft, desperate, full of months of denied feelings. When they broke apart, both were trembling. I love you, he whispered. I know it's insane. I know this started as business. But I love you, Maya Chun. And I'm terrified because Victoria's right. If our contract is exposed, everything falls apart. But I'd rather lose everything and have you than have billions and be empty. Maya's heart was so full it hurt. I love you too. But Emma. We'll heal. We'll get her the best therapists. We'll take it slow. And Maya? She doesn't have to like you right away. She just has to know you're not giving up on her. On us. On this family. The next weeks were brutal. They moved Emma to a private facility in New York. Alexander hired trauma specialists. But every time Maya tried to visit, Emma would panic, shutting down completely. Maybe I should leave, Maya told Alexander one night, heartbroken. Maybe it's better if I'm not around.
No.
Alexander's voice was firm. Emma's trauma isn't your fault. And you're my wife. We're working through this together. But Victoria wasn't done making their lives hell. She showed up at a charity gala where Alexander and Maya were presenting as a couple. In front of hundreds of society's elite, Victoria made her move. How sweet, Alexander playing house with his paid wife. Victoria's voice carried across the ballroom. Tell me, dear, how much is he paying you to pretend to love him?
5 million?
10. The room went silent. Cameras flashed. Maya felt her world crumbling. That's enough, Alexander said coldly. Is it? Or should I tell everyone about the contract? About how you're committing fraud to access your grandmother's trust? About how this entire marriage is a sham? Victoria's smile was cruel. Maya watched Alexander's face, saw him calculating the damage, saw him about to lose everything. And she made a choice. You're right, Maya said loudly, clearly. We did have a contract. Alexander paid me to marry him to access his inheritance. It was supposed to be fake. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Alexander's face went white. But here's what Victoria doesn't know. Maya continued, her voice growing stronger. It stopped being fake for me about 3 months ago. I fell in love with a man who's spent 5 years trying to find his sister. Who never gave up hope even when everyone else did. Who's so broken by grief he forgot how to live, but who's learning again. She turned to Alexander, tears streaming down her face. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the contract. I care about you. And I'd marry you 100 times over for free if it meant being by your side. The silence was deafening. Then Alexander moved. He crossed the distance between them, cupped Maya's face, and kissed her in front of everyone. I love you, he said when they broke apart. Contract or no contract. Money or no money. You're my wife. My real wife. And if the trust gets voided for fraud, I don't care. You're worth more than all of it. Someone started clapping. Then another. Then the entire ballroom erupted in applause. Victoria's face twisted with rage. You'll regret this. Both of you. The only thing I regret, Alexander said quietly, is ever thinking you were what I needed. Maya showed me what real love looks like. And it's nothing like what you and I had. Victoria stormed out. The damage was done. The truth was exposed. But somehow, it didn't matter. The next day, Alexander's lawyers confirmed what they'd feared. The trust would be contested. The grandmother's will specifically stated, a genuine marriage. A contract arrangement could void everything. We could lose $2 billion, the lawyer warned. Then we lose it, Alexander said, holding Maya's hand. I'd rather have love than money. But Maya had an idea.
What if we got married again? For real this time.
New ceremony, real vows, witnessed by family and friends. Proof that what started as a contract became real. Alexander stared at her. You'd do that? After everything? I'd marry you in a dumpster if it meant being with you. They remarried 3 weeks later.
Small ceremony.
Emma, still struggling but healing, attended by a video call, watching from her facility. She didn't speak, but she watched. And at the end, when Alexander and Maya kissed, Emma smiled. Just a little. Just enough. That smile was everything. The trust litigation took months. But eventually, the judge ruled in their favor. Yes, the marriage had started as a contract. But the evidence showed genuine love had developed. The spirit of the grandmother's wish, that Alexander find love and healing, had been fulfilled. The inheritance was released. But the real victory came 6 months later. Maya was visiting Emma's facility, as she did every week, even though Emma still couldn't be in the same room with her. This time, Maya sat in the hallway outside Emma's room, talking through the door. I brought you flowers, Maya said softly. Yellow roses. Alexander said they're your favorite. I know you can't see me, and I know I scare you, because I look like the people who hurt you. But Emma, I need you to know something. I will never, ever hurt you. I will protect you. I will fight for you. Because you're Alexander's sister and I love him, which means I love you too. Even if you never love me back. Silence. Then, quietly from inside the room. What kind of yellow roses? Maya's breath caught. Emma was talking to her. For the first time. Garden roses, Maya said, her voice shaking. The ones that smell really strong. I wasn't sure if you liked the smell, but the florist said they're the most cheerful. Another long silence. Then the door opened. Just a crack. Emma stood there, thin and fragile, her gray eyes, so like Alexander's, filled with fear and something else. Hope, maybe. Can I see them? Emma whispered. Maya held up the bouquet, not moving closer, letting Emma control the distance. Emma stared at the flowers, then at Maya, then back at the flowers. They're beautiful, Emma said. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm sorry I screamed at you. Emma's voice was barely audible. I know you're not them. My therapist has been helping me understand that. But my brain, it gets confused. You don't have to apologize. You survived something terrible. Healing takes time. Emma's eyes filled with tears. Alexander really loves you, doesn't he? He really does. And you really love him? With everything I have. Emma was quiet for a long moment. Then, would you like to come in? We could have tea. If you want. Maya's tears fell freely. I would love that more than anything. That tea lasted 20 minutes. Emma could only handle that much. But it was a start. Over the next year, the healing continued.
Slowly.
Painfully. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But forward nonetheless. Emma moved into a private residence with round-the-clock care. She started art therapy. She began speaking more. She could be in the same room with Maya for hours now, though unexpected touches still triggered her. And one day, Emma hugged Maya. Just once, quick and awkward, but real. Thank you, Emma whispered, for not giving up on me. Or Alexander. Family doesn't give up, Maya whispered back. 2 years after Maya signed that contract, she stood in Alexander's office, now their shared office, reviewing the latest numbers for the Emma Hartwell Foundation, a nonprofit they'd created to help other families searching for missing loved ones. We've helped reunite 43 families this year, Alexander said, reading over her shoulder. Emma would be so proud. Emma is proud, Maya corrected. Emma was thriving now, back in school part-time, studying psychology to help other trauma survivors. She still had bad days, but the good days outnumbered them now. She told me yesterday we should expand to international cases. Alexander wrapped his arms around Maya from behind. Remember when you were just my paid wife? I was never just anything. I was always going to be extraordinary. You just needed to notice. Cocky. You love it. I love you. He turned her to face him. 2 years ago, I was dead inside. You brought me back to life. You helped me find Emma. You became my family. You became mine too. Maya's eyes softened. My father asked me yesterday if I regret signing that contract. Know what I told him? What? That it was the best decision I ever made. Because it led me to you. She kissed him softly. Even if the journey was messy and painful and complicated. Especially because it was messy and painful and complicated, Alexander murmured against her lips. Easy love isn't real love. Real love fights through the hard parts. They'd fought through Victoria's sabotage, Emma's trauma and rejection, public scandal, legal battles, self-doubt, fear,
Pain.
and they'd won, not because it was easy, but because they chose each other. Every single day. A knock on the door interrupted them. Emma poked her head in, smiling. Hey, lovebirds. Ready for lunch? Dad's making dumplings. Dad was Maya's father, who Emma had bonded with over cooking. They'd become unlikely friends, both healing from their traumas through food and family. We'll be right there, Maya called. As Emma left, Alexander pulled Maya close one more time. Thank you, he whispered, for everything. Thank you for seeing me, for choosing me, for building this life with me. Their kiss was interrupted by Emma yelling, Come on, the dumplings are getting cold. They laughed, grabbed their coats, and headed home. Together. Because that's what they were now. Not a contract. Not a business arrangement. Not a billionaire and his paid wife.
Just a family.
Messy, complicated, scarred, but whole. And absolutely, perfectly real. Thanks for listening. Please like, share, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I love hearing from all of you.